for most of us at least, it's going to be the Cubs against their old enemies, the Pirates. Cubs, of course, have won 3 of their last 4 ball games. The Pirates have gotten up to the place now where they're just 1 down to the 500 mark. They're 16-17 at this moment, and very much in the race. They're 5.5 games out of first place. I'm Jack Brickhouse, along with Milo Hamilton. Jack Rosenberg, our WGN Sports editor, here with us. Arnie Harris directing our outstanding crew, capturing these baseball headlines as they're being made. People still streaming into Wrigley Field. It's the kind of a sight that you kind of dream about when those snowy days hit you in January and February. And here we are now, enjoying beautiful weather. Temperature right now is 76 degrees. The wind, by the way, is southwest at 17 miles an hour. What that means is, watch some of those golf balls go flying out of here, because it's very much with the hitters, this win today. Let's go with the batting orders now. Pirates, of course, have some very, very key men out with injuries. They're on the disabled list. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Pittsburgh Pirates batting order. Lee Lacy in left field leading off. Omar Marino in center. It's the first time we've seen a batting order in a long time without Omar in the leadoff spot. Bill Madlock at third. Jason Thompson at first. Mike Easler is in right field. Phil Garner at second. Tim Foley at shortstop. Steve Nicosia is catching the ball game, and the pitcher, Rick Rhoden, what a start he's off to. He's won 5, lost none. Now for the Cubs, Ivan DeJesus at short, back in the familiar leadoff spot. Joe Strain at second. Leon Durham at first base today. Steve Henderson is in left. Jerry Morales in center. Scott Thompson's in right field. The hamstring's going to keep Bill Buckner out of action for a little bit. Ken Reitz at third. Tim Blackwell catching the ball game, and the pitcher, Randy March, who the last time out, if you recall, gave the Cubs a nice complete game win. And we'll be underway now with the exchange of batting orders and our national anthem and the ball game itself right after this message.
Hope nobody notices me sneaking off to Florida like this, but I'm trying to keep a secret. Florida's even better in the summertime. Why, I'm breaking away on the United Sunbird for just $159. Kids are saving a bundle, too. What a steal. And now the price of accommodations is even more accommodating. Florida in the summertime. Let's try to keep it a secret. Okay, Arn?
I'll never tell.
Only told my good golfing buddy.
Fly the friendly skies.
As you can see, we're going to have ourselves not only a good day weather-wise, but also we're going to have a pretty well-populated ballpark. We're not going to be anywhere near full, but we're certainly going to be watching a lot more people than we have the last couple of days on this holiday weekend. Got a great idea. Let's all get together here next year, too. Same time, same place. And the way to make that happen, well, for one thing, drive carefully, will you? So we can all be together next year. Umpires coming out now. Plate umpire Bruce Fremming. John Kibler, the dean of this particular crew, is at first base today. Jim Quick at second. Lenny Harris will be the umpire at third. That's Bill Madlock turning in the batting order for the Pirates. Cookie Rojas for the Cubs. Last year, the Pirates won 10 of the 18 games played. There's one of the most welcome sights in Chicago. The faces of Wrigley Field on a good baseball day. Nestled in the heart of this very great residential area on the near north side of Chicago. As our cameras pan around, you're going to have to admit that there's a lot of attractiveness in this view. Cubs and the Pirates at Wrigley Field, and again we have our network this afternoon. And we also have, of course, a lot of people watching around this country of ours on cable. So, along with Milo Hamilton, my broadcasting partner, this is Jack Brickhouse saying welcome wherever you are in this great land of ours. Lou Boudreau will be along a little bit later on. Talk a little baseball and probably give us his favorite recipes. He's an expert on food. Milo, you did an interview with Chuck Tanner. We heard part of it, and old Chuck is still old Chuck. I love the way you signed off. You said what you see is what you get where Tanner's concerned. That optimism really is for real.
Well, people who see that, and when a club is going bad, they think that's a facade or that's an act. It isn't. And I'm happy to say that our own little skipper, Joey Amalfitano, he's an even keel. This club's been going bad. He could have shown you the sour puss, but every day he was delightful. He talked to you and I before a game what was going on, just as though he was, the record was flip-flop from what it is. And those kind of people, they're not fooling anybody. They're giving you what they are, and Chuck Tanner's that way if you see him in the middle of a snowstorm in Newcastle on Thanksgiving. That's the way he is.
About the only time I've ever seen him with a long face is when he's beaten out in his third photo finish.
But he's that way with his family. He's that way with his friends. And that's the way he plays golf.
All right. We're all being asked now by Jimmy Enright on the PA system here to join John Hensel, our organist, as we sing our national anthem. Cubs on the field. Out in left field, there's Steve Henderson. Jerry Morales in center. Right fielder Scott Thompson. Kenny Reitz at third. Yvonne DeJesus, shortstop. Joe Strain at second. First baseman Leon Durham. Pitcher Randy Martz. And the catcher Tim Blackwell. There's old pal Al Monchak at first. Coaching over at third, Joe Lynette. And where Tanner goes, you're going to see those two. John Kibler umpiring at first. At second, Jimmy Quick. This is Lanny Harris at third. And behind the plate, Bruce Fremming. There's Randy Martz. Let's hope he has an outing like the last one.
He showed you something that a lot of young pitchers couldn't do, Jack. His bread and butter wasn't working, so he adjusted and came up with a sinker all of a sudden. A lot of young pitchers would have panicked. Maybe thrown a few fastballs that really had killed him.
His sinker fooled me because there were times when I misunderstood it for his palm ball. Lee Lacy will lead off. He'll be followed by Omar Marino, then Bill Madlock. Lacy comes into the game hitting .309. Don Robinson, the pitcher. Bill Robinson, the outfielder, first baseman. John Candelaria, the pitcher. Dave Parker, the outfielder, all on the disabled list for this ball club. And Pena and Stargell, of course, have a couple of injuries too. They're suited up. Pena, the catcher, and Stargell, of course, his chronic knees. Ball one, we're underway. The clock showing 1:38 here at Wrigley Field. Very high fly ball. Strain backing up, shading his eyes, and Joe handles it. That's one away. Watch for the outfielders to be hollering the infielders off the ball once in a while. All right, here's the center fielder, Omar Marino. That's the ball. Ball one. Mets 4, Phillies nothing. First inning at New York. Foul ball. 1-1. Marino having trouble with the batting average, is hitting .224. No homers, 10 RBIs, and of course Chuck explained to you, Marlo, why Marino's batting second.
He's just trying to take a little pressure off of him right now. As soon as he starts getting back in the groove, he'll be back in that leadoff spot.
That's a curve strike. Ball one, strike two. Fly ball, right field. Over and in fast is Thompson. It drops in front of him for a base hit, and there goes Marino to second.
He's automatically going to get second because Durham interfered with him when he ran around first.
Interference called by Kibler, huh?
Right.
That'll bring up third baseman Bill Madlock.
That is a single. There's no error. The man reached second base on obstruction start to get to first base.
Okay, give him a single. Give him second on the interference. The batter is Madlock. Bill has strike one now. Twice the National League batting champion. And he's up there battling away for it again this year. He's at .326 right now. One homer, 11 runs batted in. Man on second, one out. One and one. Foul ball. 1-1.
In that New York-Philadelphia game, the Mets got those 4 runs off Ruthven. Greg Harris is pitching for the Mets. Augustine is pitching at Milwaukee at home for the Brewers against Morris for the Tigers.
1-2. There's a hot shot, base hit, slams it past Reese. That'll bring in a run, and Madlock will wind up on second. A good shot by Madlock, a 2-base hit, and that brings up Jason Thompson. Eight doubles this year for Madlock. You know, it's really difficult to imagine a big series in Wrigley Field with Pittsburgh without Stargell and Parker in the lineup. Huh?
It's also kind of nice to have a series with them and not have them in the lineup with that wind blowing to right field.
Right. really blowing out.
Did you hear Tanner tell the story about crying today during batting practice?
Yeah.
Because Parker swung and hit about 10 balls on Sheffield.
Ball won the count now to Jason Thompson. He came to him in that California deal which sent Ed out to the Angels. And then they were going to send him to New York, and it didn't work. Somebody, I guess the commissioner, killed the deal. Ball one. He's hitting 148. 5 home runs, 9 RBIs. Ball two. Strike. Ball two, strike one. Madlock with a fair lead off second, 2-1. Low. Ball three, strike one.
I think Kenny Reitz needs a different glove.
Wants one with the fingers 2 inches longer. So in case Madlock hits another one of those, he can get it, huh?
I suppose.
3-1.
Little extra leather.
Low. She's on. So Mr. Marks is off to a shaky start.
And going to have to look at a tough left-handed hitter.
Single double walk. And Easler, the right fielder, is up. You know something, Milo? Parker's injury could make this guy the batting champion.
Well, he has taken the most of every opportunity over the last 2 years. And a fellow who struggled through the minors for years and years finally got a chance to play on a regular basis, and look what's happened.
Well, he's hitting .354 right now. 5 homers, 21 RBIs. Strike. Strike one.
He killed us last year. 3 homers and 10 RBIs, and hit almost 500 for the year against Cub pitching.
Wore him out.
Boy, every time he hit one, it hurt.
Strike one. Foul ball off to the left. 0-2. Madlock on second. Jason Thompson on first. Mike Easler, the batter. 1 run across for the Pirates. That's a ball. Ball 1, strike 2. One and two. Inside, ball 2, strike 2. Well hit, deep to center. It is right at Morales. Awfully good wood on it, but Jerry was in perfect position. That went out there fast, didn't it?
You just got to be glad he didn't get under that ball.
Oh, that had to sting Jerry's hand when he caught it. Here's Phil Garner, the second baseman, 353 hitter. He was on the disabled list for a while. 1 homer, 9 runs batted in for old Scrap Iron.
Here's a fellow who got full advantage of some of the modern techniques. The job they did on his shoulder, they would have had to in there a few years ago. Now they can just open up a little tiny, you know, it's, when they cover it up, they cover it with a Band-Aid. That's how big it is. Or he might have been for the year. Instead, he was back playing the first week of May.
Good hard-nosed player.
If he isn't, there aren't any.
Ball 1. Ball 1. That's a curved strike. 1-1. Ball 1, strike 1. Low inside, ball 2, strike 1. Two out. High foul. Off to the right. And that's the kind of a shot today the catcher and third baseman and first baseman better be a little aware of, because ordinarily that figures to go way into the seats. But that wind at 17 miles an hour out of the southwest is liable to embarrass them today and blow it back into a catchable area if they don't stay with it. Two and two. Strike 3. Got him. Well, it could have been a lot worse. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. This ball game now goes to the Cubs first. Pirates 1, Cubs nothing.
There's this argument in football about who's smarter, the offense or defense.
Defense had to be smarter to react to flip-flops and flea flickers. Then we drink the best tasting beer, light beer from Miller.
We drink light, too. It's got a third less calories than the regular beer, and it's less filling. But we had to be smarter to react to the Red Dogs and clothesline.
Okay, Billy. The flanker does it down and out, the weak side linebacker blitzes. What's the nose guard do, huh?
I don't know.
Defense rests.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Out in left field, there's Lee Lacy. Center fielder is Omar Marino. The right fielder, Mike Easler. Phil Madlock at third. Tim Foley at short. Phil Garner at second. Jason Thompson at first. Pitcher, Rick Roden. And the catcher, Steve Nicosia. Gene Klein's coaching at first. Ricky Rojas over at third. So there's Rick Roden, 5-0. Milo, what's the update on Buckner?
Let me just clarify something the scorer, Dick Dozier, just gave, which we didn't have when we gave the totals. On the obstruction call, the man who obstructs has to be given an error. So in your totals, make it 1 error, and it is on Durham. The run is earned nonetheless because in the scorer's view, the run would have scored anyway on Madlock's double. Now, to your question, but I wanted to get that on because I think some people probably heard it in the background.
Thank you very much.
Buckner wanted to play. He asked to play today. Reason, when we talked about the hamstring, they found out last night it is not a hamstring. It's a tendon, and they tell me if you're going to have one or the two, he got the best kind. But the doctor and Joey and the trainer wanted him out of there today just so he wouldn't aggravate it and hurt it worse.
That's the ball. Ball one. DeJesus, 152 hitter. No homers, 3 RBIs. He's had 2 hits in the last 2 days, and both of them were real clutch hits. At least he picked his spot. That's a strike, says Fleming. Ball 2, strike 1. That's the ball. Ball 3, strike 1. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Ground ball at the shortstop Foley. DeJesus is out. Brings up Joe Strain.
Pirates took some heat when they traded Roden for Royce straight up because Royce went to L.A. and had some success,
including a no-hitter.
Roden had severe surgery. As I told Chuck, you know, we both thought he'd never pitch again, and here he is. He's battled it back. He went to Portland last year to start the season, pitched a no-hitter in AAA, worked his way back, and here he is, 5-0.
Ball 1. That's a strike. 1-1. Kingman just got his 7th homer, a grand slammer, 2nd inning.
Well, they're really jumping on the Phillies with all 18 feet, aren't they? That would make it 8-0, and that's all we know about. The inning is still going on, isn't it?
Wow. Ball 2, strike 1. Foul ball. Rosenberg's looking on page 43 of the Green Book now to see how many grand slammers that is for Kingman. All right, make a guess.
9.
Very close. 10. He had 9 going into the season.
Well, you didn't let me finish the sentence.
2-2. Listen, as an announcer, if you only miss it by 1, that's pretty good. There's a strike. Joe Strain strikes out. That's 2 out. That brings up the first baseman, Leon Durham. Here's Leon, doing very well lately. He's up to 292, 4 homers, 15 RBIs. There is a base hit through the middle for Durham. All right. Brings up the left fielder, Steve Henderson. He got 7 out of his last 11 at-bats now. Something like that, Milo?
7-game hitting streak. And boy, there've been no fall-ins, no dying quail. They've all been hit on the nose.
3 straight. Single and a homer the last 2 at-bats yesterday. Four for 4 the day before with a homer. Leon Durham. Leon also owns a dozen stolen bases. There he goes. He's going to try it again, and he is out. Nicotia's throw was a little low, but it was very well handled by Foley, and that takes care of that. Here it is isolated now. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left at the end of 1. Pirates 1, Cubs nothing.
The first marathon, 26 miles, 385 yards. It took incredible endurance, incredible spirit. We at Marathon Oil remember that spirit. The spirit that constantly pushes our company further to pursue excellence in everything that carries our name. Marathon Oil. The spirit to excel, to go farther. Marathon, the long-distance gasoline.
All right, leadoff hitter for the Pirates in the second, Tim Foley. He'll be followed by Nicotia, then Roden. Bottom of the batting order, Pirates 1, Cubs nothing. Pirates have 2 hits, the Cubs 1. This is Foley. Look how he chokes that bat. And there's a foul ball.
He can get a base hit from either end. The only other guy that I remember in recent years with that much exaggeration was little Felix Millan with the Braves and the Mets.
Uh-huh. Arnie said, who was the guy hit by all those pitches? Talking about Ron Hunt. He choked it a lot, too.
Right.
1-1. Ball 2, strike 1. Inside, ball 3, strike 1. He's on. That brings up the catcher, Steve Nicosia. They had enough confidence in him, they could trade Ed Ott.
Although the real key to that Ott trade was they thought young Pena was ready.
He's got a sore hand, but he says he's ready. Yeah. Nicosia is a pretty good take-charge catcher. He's an aggressive type catcher, isn't he?
He calls a good game. That's the thing they like about him. And in AAA for 2 years, though he was right up in there with those 330s and 340 batting averages.
Right now he's hitting 192. No homers, 4 RBIs. Nobody out. No bunt. Strike 1. One of the reasons that they don't mind bunting in this spot is because the pitcher following can swing the bat pretty well. Roden's a 2-17 hitter this year. As pitchers go, that's not bad. He's got 5 hits, including a double. Bunt may be off now. It is. 1 hopper to Mark. Let's get 2. Over to Yvonne for 1. No double play. Nicosia, real hustling catcher, beat the relay. Hey, it might be interesting to see a foot race between him and who's the other guy who can run that catcher if they bat second?
Stearns runs well.
Well, no, I'm not thinking of him, though. I'll think of it in a minute.
In our division?
Yeah. Is it what?
Carter.
We'll think of him. But he was in the number 2 spot.
Well, when Atlanta was here, Pocoroba batted second one day.
No. Rick Roden, the pitcher's up. Ball one.
Well, let's see who we played. Cardinals was Porter and Tennis. I don't think Tennis batted second.
No, no Porter either. Strike.
And it wasn't Carter.
No. Wasn't Bob Boone.
Alex Trevino with the Mets.
I think that's it. Yeah, Trevino. Yeah.
Yeah, he can run.
Ball one, strike one. High fly. Look out for this one. It's going back. It's still going back. It is caught in the vines by Henderson. Wow. Roden scared everybody half to death with a deep drive to left that was picked up by the wind. And Steve Henderson probably grabbed a couple of vine leaves as well as a ball on that play. Wow.
You know, just because you just got through telling everybody in the country that he was a pretty good hitting pitcher, he didn't have to put on a graphic display.
I'd rather have him make a liar out of me. All right, here's Lacey. We've had enough of those pitchers belting it out on us.
Hey, I got to tell you about Bibby when we get a moment.
Ground ball taken by Reach. The short throw to second over there to Joe Strain, and that kills off the side with the force on Nicosia. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. Let's go now to the Cub half of number 2. Henderson will lead off. Pirates 1, Cubs nothing.
Gatorade. Do you think a professional needs it more than you? Watch. Simulated thermographic photography shows the heat his body builds up as he plays. And this shows the heat your body can build up in everyday exertion. But Gatorade was invented to help put back salts, minerals, and fluids your body sweats away. To cool you down before you feel burned out. Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Give your body what it's thirsty for.
Well, what a delightful surprise. The senior senator from Illinois just dropped in the booth, Chuck Percy. Senator, make yourself comfortable for a minute. This is great.
Nothing still.
Sit over right there and put those headphones on, will you? And then next chair right there next to Milo. Oh, what a pleasure. The leadoff hitter is going to be Steve Henderson. Steve Henderson takes ball one. Cubs are down 1-0. The ball game is in the Cubs' second. Ball one. That's the ball. Ball two, 2-0. Ball 2, no strikes. That's a smash back to the pitcher, batted down by Roden, picks it up, throws, Henderson's out. Close play and a good play by Roden, good reaction. Jerry Morales is up now. Here's Jerry, hitting .282 right now, no homers, 6 runs batted in. Pirates leading 1-0.
Matlock and Foley came in to see if Roden was all right, and after they were all around, I think Jerry Morales said that many guys around a baseball, it can't be as clean as when he got it, and he has the umpire to look at it, and he threw it out of the game. You don't suppose an outstanding young man like Roden would be wetting up a baseball, do you?
Oh, never.
Never.
No, because first of all, it's illegal.
That's right.
Strike one. That's the strike. 0-2. Ball one, strike two. Charlie Feely, the very fine Pittsburgh writer, was saying today that the Philadelphia Inquirer assigned its labor editor to cover the ongoing story of the threatened baseball strike. Pretty well hit to right field, base hit. And there goes Jerry towards second base. He'll make it easily. A two-base hit from Morales. That is his first double this year. And the Cubs have the tying run in scoring position. Here it is again. Slices it very well with the outside pitch. Now here is Scotty Thompson. With injury to Buckner, Thompson now has an opportunity with his bat to show Joey that he belongs in there every day. He responded with 2 hits yesterday. There's a ground ball to the right side, grabbed by the first baseman, Thompson. Of course, on this unassisted put out, Morales will take third. And that brings up Kenny Reitz, the third baseman. Well, we have a very well-known water polo player in the booth with us. The fellow looks like he's about one expansion club away from a $500,000 bonus himself. We'll be talking to him at the end of this inning. He's filling his time these days as a United States Senator from Illinois. But I have a feeling that deep down in his heart, running the Cubs is what he'd like to do. Strike one. You know, we had Paul Douglas when he was senator in the booth one day, and he did a half an inning, and Ernie Banks accommodated him by hitting a home run. And a week before at Sox Park, he did the same thing, and Don Buford hit a homer for him. And he was on the air at the time that he described these 2 homers. So that year, the local Academy of Television Arts and Sciences gave him a local Emmy, a special Emmy, as the most promising young sports broadcaster in the Chicago area. And he showed up to accept it, too. Ball one, strike two. Kenny Reitz. Foul ball. Pirates 1, Cubs nothing. Ball one, strike two. There's a very high fly out into right field. Mike Easler is over. And he one-hands this one to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. And so, at the end of 2, score the ball game. Pittsburgh 1, the Cubs nothing.
When the human and I started in data processing, his functions were simple. Maintain my circuitry, obtain yellow pages ads. That ad and I worked night and day, even while humans slept. Soon we were plugging into bookkeeping business machines. We work today, all systems are go. Get in the yellow. I said the yellow.
Our program for success. Our yellow pages is where you should be.
In the booth with us now, the United States Senator from Illinois and old friend Chuck Percy. Senator Percy,
Jack,
great to see you.
Thank you.
You've met Milo before, of course. Milo, welcome. What brings you to the ball?
Well, it's good to be back. Well, anytime you can see the Cubs win 2 in a row lately, you've got to come to see if it'll be 3. I think it took them 43 games to get into this again. But
first batter is Marino, and there's a high fly out to center field. Should be caught. That's one away, and that brings up Madlock. Pirates leading 1-0. Go ahead, Senator. I know that you're going to have an active week in the state. You're headed downstate later on this week, aren't you?
Going down Wednesday to be at the White House Conference on the Aging, 2,000 senior citizens in Illinois, talking about what the president's going to do about and Congress about the people who are growing older.
Jack Rosenberg's very interested in that subject. So is Rosenberg. Vince.
Well, we're all growing older, Jack. Let's face it. The alternative is not good to think about.
Right. Senator, what about the RTA? Have you got a viewpoint on that one?
Well, if we just put through the bill I'd been pressing on for years to abolish the Highway Trust Fund and put 4 cents a gallon into a transportation trust fund so we'd take care of all our transportation needs, our railroads wouldn't be in this kind of shape. Our RTA would not be in this kind of shape. But we keep socking money away just to build highways when we've finished 99% of the interstate freeway system.
I'm glad I asked that question. That's a real fine answer. You yourself, of course, as an athlete, I know that you played a lot of water polo, and was at the University of Chicago, wasn't it?
University of Chicago was the last Big Ten championship we won, really. And I was captain of the team that year.
Hey, he's glad I asked that.
But I'll tell you, my greatest victory was, I think I told you years ago about Armstrong School when I was captain of the 4th grade baseball team, and we beat the 6th grade.
Well, you know, that's what makes baseball fans when we're adults.
That's
really it. And that's why we're so glad to see, for example, a good youth program in baseball or all sports being
tremendous.
We're well supervised and well supported. It's so great to see you here, Senator.
Well,
I have a trouble not calling this guy Chuck. That's fall 4, because he's been such an old friend for so many years. And I have to say this. I remember, he may not even remember it, Milo, but he arranged an interview for me in the 1964 convention in San Francisco with President Eisenhower.
I remember that.
And boy, talk about a great sports interview. Because there was a guy who really played a lot of baseball and football, and we got on the subject of sports, and that's where we stayed for quite a while.
And he got me into politics, too, by the way. He was
did?
the one that really talked me into it. He said, you just have to run for office.
Well, there are an awful lot of us who are very, very glad you did. Jack,
well,
make yourself come. Give Lorena our best.
Thank you, Jack, very much indeed. Wonderful to be with you.
There goes the runner breaking for second. And he didn't even have to slide on that one. Jason Thompson's the batter.
Matlock, playing for Tanner, has had a chance to do some things he never could do with the other 2 clubs he played with. Tanner lets him run. He's got better speed than anybody realizes. You just had a guest on that makes me wish we had baseball back in Washington. Used to be great when we go there, and you mentioned Senator Douglas and some of those people. They always came to the booth. Maybe we'll have that yet, Senator. A ball club in Washington.
It's the national sport. It's the nation's capital. We ought to have. You know, I still am one of the few that have both the Sox and the Cubs. Lived in the north side and the south side for 4 years, so I have to split my loyalties between the Sox and the Cubs.
That's fair enough. We did it for years on Channel 9. We're doing it again.
Right.
They're on with us now. Ball 2 is the count to Jason Thompson. Matlock on second, 1 away here in the 3rd inning. Ooh, he pulled the string on that one beautifully. That had to be a palm ball, Milo.
It was. He was having trouble getting it over the first 2 innings.
Ball 2, strike 1. That's low. Ball 3, strike 1.
This is one guy I want the Cubs to get out of town before he wakes up. You know he's not a 148 hitter. Let him start hitting Friday.
3-1. That is a ball. He's on. That brings up Mike Easler. Senator, what have you heard lately about Jim Brady?
Jim had a little setback, of course, when he had that second operation. I stayed with him all that first night down there with his mother, who's from Centralia, Illinois, and his wife, Susan. And he just demonstrated remarkable courage. He's going to come back. But these things take time, unfortunately. But that first night, you know, it looked just absolutely dismal. And You know, I've never had an experience. I was officially notified as the senior senator from Illinois and his senator and friend for years, officially notified that he had died. And 10 minutes later, the White House called up and said, terrible mistake, we were wrong. And I said, what do you mean it's a terrible mistake? That's the best news I've ever heard. I couldn't believe it. And he's had a remarkable recovery. Ball one. Foul ball. 1-1.
You've been on a lot of things, Senator. You must have gotten a few goosebumps the night that the president returned for his first outing for that speech to the joint session. Did you ever hear any emotion like that?
I've never been in a session like that in 15 years. It was just absolutely remarkable. Everyone was cheering him on for the pluck and the courage and the great comeback he had.
The deep foul fly by Easler. Ball one, strike two. 2 men on now. 1 away here in the third. Pirates ahead of the Cubs 1-0. We're visiting with Senator Charles Percy of Illinois. Would you expect any government involvement if they have a baseball strike?
Well, only that baseball, like any other business, has the same mediation services available, but it has to be called on by the parties. Otherwise, the government stays out, and particularly with the Ronald Reagan administration, they're going to stay out of things unless asked for the private sector to come in. But I hope there isn't a strike.
There's a drive. Right center, base hit. Madlock is going to score, and the runner on first, Thompson, goes to third, and on that throw to third, Easler takes second base. Pirates leading now 2-0. 2 men in scoring position, still 1 out, Garner up. Here it is again, Mike Easler, who has as good a batting eye as you'll run into these days. Doing it again. All right, that makes it now Pittsburgh 2, the Cubs nothing. And that'll bring up second baseman Garner with men on second and third. The walk got Randy in trouble. He walked both Madlock and Thompson. Madlock managed to steal second. And that seemed to shake Randy up a little bit, too. High fly, center field. That should bring one in. That's way back to the wind's got it. Look out, it is off the line. Non-catchable as 2 more runs come in. And here comes Garner racing for third. No play on him. Look out. Oh, boy. It's a triple for Garner. 2 runs across as both Thompson and Easler come in. And now, the score of this ball game is Pittsburgh 4, the Cubs nothing. And that'll bring Joey Amalfitano out. And what a difference a couple of days can make. The last time we looked at March, he was super. Today, way off. So we're going to have a new pitcher, Kenny Kravick.
I can tell a real cowboy from a drugstore kind, clean across Texas. The way he wears his hat will tell you. And the beer that you drink is sure far a giveaway, too. A lot of us drink light beer from Miller. We love the taste, but we surely appreciate that it's got a third less calories than regular kind. You see, you don't want to fill up when you're out there punching doggies. Is that right, cowboy? I didn't punch that doggie.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
The batter now is Tim Foley, and thank you very much, Senator. Here comes the squeeze bunt, and it's going to work. Tim Foley worked that squeeze beautifully. Garner coming across, and that makes it now 5-0 on the sacrifice bunt by Foley. Boy, he really laid this one down. Look at it. Kenny Kravick could do nothing but go to first base on this one. The ball game is in the third, and it's one of those windy days. There's room for a lot of things to happen. But as far as the Cubs are concerned, they better start happening on their side pretty soon. The batter now is the catcher, Nicosia. Did that slip fly away? No, ball one. High fly, center field. Morales grabs it, and that finally retired the side. But in the inning for Pittsburgh, 4 runs. There were 2 hits. No errors. Nobody left. This takes us now to the Cub half of number 3. Blackwell will lead off. It's Pittsburgh 5, the Cubs nothing.
All I need is sunshine and cool breeze, fresh green mountain dew. Give me a Pittsburgh, give me a dew. Give me my good friend, give me a dew. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew.
So we're going now to the Cub half of number 3. And Blackwell's going to lead off. And he better be followed by a lot of Cubs, Milo. We got to put something together here, Jack. And let's do it now. You can't expect to get all 5 back at once. Get 2 or 3, and then the next inning get 2 or 3 more. Keep sawing wood. Timmy down there watching Roden. You know, Roden, in the 7 games he's been in this year, the Pirates have not lost. Ended up in a tie one time, and he won the other 5. So he's in a groove that we need to knock him out of if we're going to get back in this one. Timmy Blackwell. Last year, didn't hit a home run against the Pirates, drove in a couple of runs with 259 against them. And Timmy stepping in for the first time today. There's nobody in our on-deck circle. There's nobody in our bullpen. Kravik is due up next. See what happens here. As far as Malfatone, it might depend what Blackwell does. First pitch to him from Roden is ball 1. Mets lead the Phillies 8-1 after 3 at Shea. Detroit 2, Milwaukee nothing after an inning and a half. 2 balls and no strikes. I guess we're as guilty as anybody. We talk about the Phillies, Montreal. Pirates have gotten off to a rough start with all their injuries. There's a high foul. So if there's any club that might sneak up in there, it'd be the Pirates. Traditionally been in the thick of things. Some people think they're going to finish 4th. But they've got too many good athletes, I think, for that to happen. It'll depend how long the Cardinals can hold up.
Yes, I think that there are those of us who maybe figure that some of the Pirates are a year older at a time when it hurts. They may fool us.
They get Parker back. They're a different club. Here's the 2-2. There's a high bouncer that Garner will have to go to his right, stop on a dime and throw, and he got it. Blackwell is out second to first. Garner to Jason Thompson. But a week ago, they were mentioning all those injuries the Pirates had, and all they've done in the last week is win. Kravik's going to bat since the leadoff batter failed to get on. Kravik doesn't get a bat that much. Number 1, he was over in the American League, and in the games he started, he wasn't around that long, except for 1 game against New York early. Roden with the 1-0 to Kravik right down the middle, and it's 1-1. Kravik's only batted 4 times all year. One ball and 2 strikes.
And he just came over from a league where pitchers never bat.
The 1-2. Struck. Came out. Roden just smoked a couple by.
I got to say this, he took a couple of pretty good rips there. He's trying to prove that they should let pitchers hit.
All right, up to the top we go with Ivan DeJesus, who bounced the short in the first inning. Remember we talked earlier, Jack, about Roden battling back from all that surgery. I got a feeling his youth probably implanted in him and instilled in him the battle cry, because, you know, he had osteomyelitis
as a youngster, wore a brace. Yeah, that was a very freakish accident that caused that. If I recall the story, Milo, when he was a kid, he was sliding on some kind of a canvas cover, and there were a pair of scissors underneath sticking up, and nobody knew it. So he slid, and the scissors ripped his leg. Right. And that's what caused the bone problem. And the right leg is very evident. How much smaller the right leg is. So he didn't need anybody to tell him how to battle back from surgery, did he, to make it back? He'd been there already. Philly's got one in the fourth inning, but they're still pretty short of the mark. 8-2. Yes, with the Mets at bat in the fourth inning now. Mets 8, Philadelphia 2.
2 balls and 2 strikes to the Cubs shortstop, batting with nobody on and 2 away. We're in the bottom of the third. So far, the Pirates have had it their own way. They got a run in the first and added 4 in the third. Knocked Randy Martz out in a hurry here today. He's the only pitcher we've had to go the distance, and he did that in his last outing. But another day and another opponent. And the 2-2 with 2 down. Had a good eye that time. That was a pretty good pitch. Took it for ball 3. White Sox in Oakland later this afternoon. A lot of night games. I remember on Memorial Day we always played doubleheaders.
Yeah, and daytime, too.
Line into left center, a base hit. That ball will be cut off by Lacy. The Hastings going to try to dig. He's going to have to hit the dirt. He is in there with a The Hastings turned what would have been a single for a lot of others into a double. It's his 4th of the year. He shows you the good speed here. Now the ball turned Lacy around. And just that extra 2 or 3 steps enabled the Jesus to go in with his 4th 2-base hit of the season. Lacy plays that ball in front of him without turning around. He's not in there safely. The way he used to run, wasn't it, Senator?
I was emphasizing with the guy tagging him out there. He almost got him. Jeez.
All right, here's Joe Strain. Let's see if we can get a run back. Strain was called out on strikes in the first inning. Cubs have been shut out with 3 hits. The Pirates have 5 runs and only 4 hits. They took advantage of Martz's wildness. Got him to open a hole in that 3rd inning. After 1 out, he walked 2. They both scored. He had walked 1 in the first, and he had walked 1 in the second. Good hitters will sit on you when you start walking people, and the Pirates did. All right, 1 ball, no strikes. Rosen to Strain, fouls it way down the right side, and it's 1-1. Mike Kuzco will pitch tomorrow against the youngster they just called up, Ernie Camacho. And another youngster is going to pitch for them Wednesday, Pascual Perez against Rick Russell. And Bill Cottle, who won his first game yesterday of the year, will go against Eddie Solomon, who at one time was a Cub, and a Dodger, and a Brave. He'll be pitching for the Pirates here on Thursday. You've got Candelaria and Scurry out. You've got to go to your AAA club, and that's what the Pirates have done in the last 10 days. Candelaria pitched one of the biggest rocking chair games on record in this park. In September of 75, what was it, 22-1 or something? Today, Bennett went 7 for 7. Bouncer out behind second, Foley there, retires the set. Strain tried to get one up the middle to be bound home, but Foley, gliding out behind the bag, throws him out. As you look at it again, it's no runs and 1 hit. No errors and 1 left. We played through 3 in the opening game of a 4-game series at Wrigley Field in Chicago, and the Pirates have a 5-0 lead.
Chicagoland. For me, it's got everything. Beauty, strength, cultural vitality, great restaurants and entertainment, and great places for clothes, like the Suitery. Everything I want my wardrobe to be is at the Suitery, at prices that let me indulge my other tastes. I really enjoy this metropolis of ours, and the Suitery is one of the reasons. The Suitery, for everything you want your wardrobe to be. For 9 locations, out Suitery. Suitery.
All right, Kenny Kravik ready to work in the fourth, and he'll be looking at Rick Roden. Then you go up to the top with Lacey and Moreno. There you go. Hey, some great banners out here supporting the Cubs today, Jack. You know, Senator Percy, tonight in Springfield, and they're watching down there right now, they're having a big night honoring Satchel Paige. And I know that our hearts are all with him down there because this is such a great, great figure in the history of baseball. And, you know, his health will be better. So A. Ray Smith, who operates the Cardinal baseball team down there, they call them the Redbirds, Springfield Redbirds in Springfield, Illinois, are having a big, big night for Satchel. Well, we're wishing the best. Roden swings and bounces one right to Kenny Reese at third. That'll be easy. And it's one away. Roden, who the last time up drove the left fielder Henderson into the left field ivy. This time he bounces to third. All right, just bounce along there with Pop. Not too many hot dogs now. That little guy got his Cub cap. Lee Lacey is 0 for 2. He's popped up and he's hit into a force play. You know, Jack, we talked about Moreno not being in the leadoff spot, but they really don't sacrifice a lot speed-wise. Lacey, as a high school youngster, was clocked at 9.7 in the 100-yard dash, so he can get down there, too.
Yeah, he may deprive Omar of a chance to bat in a run once in a while because he's liable to park it in the seats himself, isn't he?
Yeah.
Good hit on it yet this year, but he has, down through the years, every once in a while, jerked that baby right into the seats.
He's going to be safe because Reach bobbled that ball, bringing it out of his glove. Now, here it is. It's hit right at him. If he comes up with it cleanly, but see it roll right up his bare hand, up his wrist, that'll be an E5. That is the second Cub error. The other was on an obstruction call. I'll tell you one thing, Durham did the right thing there. He went off the bag. He didn't let that ball go down toward the bullpen. And he kept a fast man from getting to second. Now with a left-hand batter up there, let's see if Tanner puts something on. He loves to run. Moreno's had a hit, scored a run, and flied out to center. Bounced off his bat and back here down in the lower seat.
I'd like to ask the Senator this. Senator, with your added responsibilities now, this keeps you in touch with a lot of countries in this world, and you're going to be out of this country a lot. Does your schedule ever permit you to observe sports in some of the other countries and see how they're doing, what the interest is?
No, very seldom. And as a matter of fact, Jack, my duties do not take me out of the country that much. Most of my work is right in Washington, and a lot of other senators and congressmen are abroad right now, and we'll be abroad July 4th recess. Lorraine and I will be back in the States, going all over. If you want to see Moscow, I can see Moscow, Illinois, and Paris, Illinois, and Vienna, but you better call it Vienna when you're down there, and you better not call it Cairo. It's Cairo, Illinois.
Right.
And Pekin, not Peking. But we feel it's best to keep in touch.
There's the speed of Lacey, and he has a stolen base. 11 out of 12.
Any Middle East prediction? We're just hopeful. I keep in very close touch to all the department this morning. Talked to Lebanese desk head. We just touch and go as to whether Bill Habib, who's an experienced negotiator, can pull this off.
All right, now runner in scoring position after the stolen base. Kravik going to step away. He had a very big lead. Lacey looks like he's got thoughts about coming over. No wonder Kravik stepped off. Now he's taking a look behind him at DeJesus. Wasn't coming that time. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Omar Moreno. The 3 Pirate hitting streaks have been extended today. That's why they've been winning the last week. Moreno now with a 6-game streak, Matlock 5, and Easler 7. There he goes. And Reese was really caught by surprise because he wasn't even near the bag. I told you he could run. After a step, he's in high gear. And then Blackwell throws to an open base. Reese was behind the bag, and Lacey got it easily.
He's been reading too much publicity about Tim Raines.
All right, now that'll bring the infield up all the way around with a runner at third and one out. Kravik working the left-hand batting Moreno. A low pop into shallow center. That's going to drop. Right. Go behind him, and the run will score. And Omar Moreno will take off for third. You ever see an antelope in a baseball outfit? You just saw one run around the bases with the name of Omar Moreno. That'll be a triple. That'll be his fourth triple. Morales gambled that he could get that ball by sliding on the grass. Once he couldn't get it, you'll see it bounce over him. That'll necessitate Thompson coming over from right and trying to get it. Lacey could have walked in from third. Thompson also overran the ball. Here's the try if you were looking from center when Jerry slid along the grass hoping to catch that ball. That's the first hit off Kravik. It's the fifth hit for the Pirates, and they have a 6-0 lead, and they're going to walk Madlock. Madlock's had a double RBI, walk, stolen base, and a run scored. Madlock's done everything but sell tickets here today. Now he's going to get an intentional pass. The next batter is Thompson. And the fourth ball is on the way, and that'll put him on.
Mets have added two more, fellas. They now lead 10-2 over the Phillies with the Mets at bat in the fifth inning.
Runners on the corners with only one out, a run in. Pirates lead 6-0. Fouled it into the screen, strike one. Thompson, the batter. Easler due up next. So Kravik in a trouble spot here. She looks at the runners, third and first. Moreno and Madlock. They can both run. That's the ball. Madlock might take off here in a moment, too. Sometimes when a guy's in a slump like Thompson is, the manager will put something on to make him concentrate more to hit the ball. Let's see if Tanner does it here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Madlock edging. Kravik takes a long look. Here he goes. And he took the swing. The throw down is going to be late. It's a stolen base and his second, and their fourth in the game. Tanner must have a mic or a speaker down there. I'm going to quit saying he ought to hit and run. Madlock now 6 out of 7. But he had such a jump, there wasn't anything Blackwell could do with it. Now, after the intentional pass, the stolen base leaves first base open again. And the count is 1-2 to Jason Thompson. Thompson's walked twice, scored 1. Infield up all the way around. 2-2. Somebody's got to put up a wall here. They're going to run out of sight in this game. Raleigh Eastwick has started to throw in the Cub bullpen. Here's the 2-2. Full count. Oh, he walks him. He'll really be looking at trouble. Easler is carrying a bat that the handle has to be wrapped in asbestos. He's hitting everything they throw up there. 3-2 with 2 runners in scoring position. With a hot hitter like Easler up there, Thompson will make it be in there. He'll take it and get on. Checked his swing, and he's an excuse me base hit. It's going to score 2. He tried to pull the bat back and ends up with a 2-run double. Oh, you talk about... Now watch this. He wanted to take it at the end. See this? He'd already started to pull the bat back. And he's going to end up with a double. Moreno scores run number 7, Madlock run number 8, and Thompson has a perfect day going.
Jeff Burrows pulled one like that on us in Atlanta last year, remember? Checked his swing, and the ball hit the bat and went flying past Buckner. Nothing he could do about it. 2 bases.
So it's a 2-run double for Thompson, and the Pirates threatening to run away and hide here. They're leading 8-0. 4th inning, Easler the batter. He drove in a run with a hit the last time up. Waiter scored a run himself. Let's give him this game and start another.
Pray for
We
rain.
got time.
Hope that Skilling's weather forecast was wrong. It's got to rain in a hurry. We haven't played 5 yet.
I guess our only chance is to go out and get some runs, Milo.
That's it. You got to jump on Roden. Start doing some scoring of your own. And Easler. You can't hit from your seat of your pants, and he found out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Easler is so strong. He'll get right back up in there. Garner's on deck. Thompson at second. The 1-1 to Easler from Kravik. Fouled it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 8 runs on only 6 hits. They've taken advantage of an error. Remember the ball that Lacey hit to Reed opened up a floodgate here. One ball and 2 strikes. Easler making Kravik wait a moment. Something blew up in his eye. 1 and 2. There's still only 1 out. 5 men have batted, 3 have scored. A high pop. DeJesus calls for it, and he'll grab it.
This holds up. Watch Herman Franks get a call from Tanner, his old buddy. When Herman was managing this ball club, they used to exchange insulting phone calls all the time. And one time, Tanner sent me over to tell Herman he's got his signs again today. Herman's answer to that one was he can't even remember his own signs. How can he steal mine?
Well, I don't know if he had him that day or not, but Tanner's one of the best at stealing them.
He keeps quite a... He said, someday I'll show you in my house the library that I have on signs. He said, I've got more file cabinets full of signs than you ever could dream possible.
This is Garner, had a 2-run triple in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Pops some leather with the best fastball he's thrown, and it's 1-1. Thompson leading off at second, 2 away. 3 runs are in. An 8-0 Pirate lead as they bat in the 4th. Line right at Durham. Oh, even when we get them out, they hit the cover off the ball. 3 runs on 2 hits. There was an error. There were 3 stolen bases. And 1 man was left. So, Cubs really are looking at an uphill climb. Got to start now. They're trailing 8-0.